GT Sport is the best racing simulator. Very bold statement there. Now, bear with me before you kick off in the comments. The real driving simulator, I don't agree with that at all. The real penalty simulator, yeah, joke, I agree. But it is the real racing simulator. This is my point for GT Sport. And we're going to go through and talk about that right now. And playing in the background, we've got an absolutely fantastic race around Sardinia Road Track A. Group 3 cars. We're going to line up in third position. Some great A+ drivers in here, and Silverman, we raced him nearly all night long and we had some great battles. So coming back to my original point, you have iRacing, you have ACC, you have rFactor 2, Project Cars 2, a lot of racing simulations which I don't think simulate racing all that well, and I think that's for a few reasons. They are exceptional driving simulators. The physics with all the driving, the tyre models, tyre temperatures, brake temperatures, all of that stuff means that they are superb driving simulators. Whereas GT Sport is a much more simple driving experience. Simcade, you could say. It's the borderline between arcade game and simulator. Now, 100% agree with that on the driving side of things. And I think that's what allows it to be the best racing simulator. Now, when you're driving in the sim world, you don't get the motion, you don't feel the car. With force feedback, etc., things like that help, but you do have a lot of your senses deprived as you would in a real race car. That's where the simplified nature of some of the physics within GT Sport for the driving side of things make up for that lack of input you get from a real race car, and this then allows it to have just a perfect racing experience. As we just get into the back of Silverman there, slight misjudgment on the brakes. And then this is another point I'm going to make, is that we all want to race, we all want to battle hard. Games like, simulators like iRacing, ACC, they're brutal. The punishment for those, for any kind of car contact, is game over. You're almost afraid to race. We're going to watch this moment here into turn one. The German driver behind misses his brake point. He lets me back past. After the race, he dropped me a message. He said, sorry about that, he went too deep. I understood that he let me back past. I gave him the flash on the hazards just to thank him for that. So maximum respect to you there. Really good to see as we run wide again, just brushing the barrier, and the kind of the simplified physics and damage model within GT Sport, they do allow you to make slight mistakes and continue racing. So basically for this race we've had maybe 2 or 3 incidents that would have written off the car in something like iRacing. But as we see right now, actually I did want this German driver to give us a bit of a bump draft, but we go racing this time. He wants to get the move done and he wants to go ahead and close down the 2 drivers ahead. But the kind of the easier nature of Gran Turismo to play means that you actually get involved with more racing, actual door-to-door action, battling with your competitors online, and that's what everybody loves. And this race was no exception to that. In fact, it was absolutely superb. So we're running back now in 4th. We started 3rd. The way this race plays out is that you have to use soft tyres and you have to use medium tyres. And whether you start on the mediums or whether you start on the soft tyres depends how you kind of progress in the first half of the race. You make the changeover, and then if you're going for an alternate strategy, then you can gain or lose depending on what tyres you choose. But right now we're starting on the medium tyres, so we know the first part of our race is going to be a consolidation part. We're going to be fighting back later on in the race. But I was actually worried about what the leader was doing, because he's starting to build a gap to us, and I was very unsure as to what tyres he'd be on. I didn't know if he'd start on these soft tyres and try and make a break for it, or if he was going to start on the medium tyres and just kind of maintain his lead. So we're going to get a reasonable exit out of the final corner, a little bit of swaz, but we'll get it under control, and we are firmly in the slipstream of the German driver ahead, and we're going to be looking to make a pit stop on lap 4. So the next lap, this is going to be our final lap on the medium tyres. We want to maximise what we can do. 4 seconds to the leader. We're going to blow by this Corvette with the massive overspeed on the slipstream there, as we just put it to the inside, make a strong move, and then we are good to go. What we want now is for the German driver to work with us and not try and pass us back straight away. We really want to be focusing on closing the gap to the leaders. If we skip forward now, towards the end of lap 4, German driver has kept behind us, and we're going to be thinking about a pit stop this lap. In the top right hand corner, we're going to ride on board with our pit stop as we go into the pits. In the main window, we're going to jump forward to the battle for the lead. Silverman on the McLaren of 250 deck. He's in the slipstream now down the main straight. Will he go for a move into turn 1? We're getting our tyres changed, so we're going to get rid of those medium tyres. He's going to go to the outside but not make the move. Having these two drivers battle while we are taking our pit stop is absolutely ideal for us. This is what we need to happen. So hopefully 250 deck will be holding up the leader, and then we're going to drop back through the pack and watch us exit the pits. And we're going to exit the pits in P10 as we exit the pits. We've got our pit stop done. It's quite an early pit stop actually, so we've got to make these soft tyres last for 6 laps, which by the end of the 6th lap we could be suffering some with severe tyre wear. So now we're going to basically try and get the most of our soft tyres on this outlap. This is the critical time for us now to get the undercut on the drivers ahead, who will be pitting a little later than us, and we've got a bit of clear track ahead. Brand new soft tyres, and we are going to try and make the most of these tyres as we come with a great exit down the winding back straight. The German driver behind us followed our strategy exactly, so he's going to continue to be a threat, as already you can see we're closing onto the back of the red McLaren ahead, and we're going to get on the brakes now. The soft tyres performing exceptionally as the McLaren gets a massive swaz into the corner there. One car as we're going to go side by side through this twisty section, and this is not ideal at all. We're on the outside and we've got no way to go, and we are in the barrier, in the wall. The German driver gets past us, and one car lives up to his name as we get severely served on the outside of the corner there. We're following back behind the German driver again now, clear behind us. That's not an ideal use of our soft tyres on the outlap there. One car's going to jump into the pits, so he must have been on very worn tyres. Slightly annoyed that we had that position battled. You can't change what's happened. Let's just try and regather this race and move forward. So we're now going to look to hook onto the back of the German driver. Still no one has pitted from the leaders, so we've got another lap to try and bridge this gap. Keep an eye on the red number. That is the delta to the leader, 21 seconds. A pit stop here costs you about 21 seconds, so that's a significant number for us to consider, as we're going to try now and save our tyres. So we're going to use a slipstream of the German driver ahead to bridge the gap on the straights, and then we're going to ease off for the corners. We're not going to push the corners too hard. So again, back to our main point of this video, this is ultimate racing simulation. We're doing battle, we're going side by side with people, we're thinking about time management, we're thinking about strategy, we're dealing with traffic on alternate strategies to ourselves. All of this is made possible with this slightly simplified kind of physics and handling and damage model of Gran Turismo Sport. As we see on the feed there, Silverman into the pits. It's taking off his medium tyres, and he's going to be exiting the pits as we come round. So that's going to be an interesting one to look at. So yeah, the simplified handling model, it just opens up accessibility to much more drivers, allows you to race harder, be more in control of your car so you can race. As we're going to close in onto the back of Silverman as he exits the pit, slow car ahead, German driver to the inside maybe, and they're going to go side by side. And we're going to check up, and we're not sure what to do. As they're going to file through, they are battling side by side. We're going to take the opportunity here to switch to the inside and get on the brakes and go side by side with the German through these sweeping corners, 2 by 2. Now we're to the outside. Fantastic racing room given by the German driver there, as we're going to promote ourselves to second place. Looking forwards now to the leader. 250 Deck has made some pit stop and 3 seconds to the lead. Now we have a suspicion that he started on the soft tyres and he's now going to be running on the medium tyres. Skipping forwards now, lap number 8, we've closed in on 250 Deck, and we really wanted the Italian driver, the Silverman, to work with us to close that gap, but he's actually gone for second place himself, on slightly fresher soft tyres than we are. I think he wants to have a shot at the leader himself, so he's made the move and he's going to try and use his fresh tyres to bridge the gap to the leader and then go to battle. At this time we're going to try and save our tyres, use the slipstream, and let Silverman drag us along to close the gap to the leader. The German in fourth has slightly dropped off the back of the group, but as we start to battle ahead, he's going to come back into play, I'm sure of that, as the Silverman is 100% in the slipstream now, and we are just fractionally holding onto the back. And down this straight here, we're going to see if anything happens going into the big braking zone. And they're going to go slightly offset, but that move's not going to be done. But that allows us to close the gap and get back into slipstream range, as we are suffering with a bit of swaz on corner exit. Our tyres are going to be quite a bit older than Silverman ahead, and 250 Deck in the lead is going to be on medium tyres. So we've got a massive difference in all the strategies here. As they're going to go side by side into the final corner. It looks like they are. So Silverman's the lead. 250 Deck is in second, and we're going to be solidly in the slipstream, and we're probably a bit too close really, so we're going to give him a little bump, a bit of a bump draft to get down the main straight, and we're going to go across the line to start the final lap. We're going to have a massive overspeed now. To the outside goes 250 Deck. We go to the inside, 3 wide into turn 1, and we're going to try and get the braking done into the first corner. We're going to go side by side, and we're just going to make it. 250 Deck is still to our right hand side, so we've not cleared him yet, and we're going to look towards, we're going to go super defensive now. The gloves are off, it's time to go to battle. I've not won a race all night, and we're in a prime position to do so. So defensive lines are coming out of the bag now, as we're constantly checking behind, seeing where the drivers are and placing our car in a very defensive position. We're going to force the drivers behind to take the long way. As we run a little wide there, that's a bit dangerous. Looks like they went side by side, so that's going to help us out as we come towards the big braking zone. We're going to cover off the inside. This is going to be make or break for the race here. This is the biggest braking zone. We're going to go defensive enough to deter them from overtaking. They're going to go 2 by 2 behind, and we're going to get a bit of breathing room. This race is now ours to throw away. All we need to do is go through this next difficult left-hander. It's a very difficult corner. So often we make a mistake, because we're going to go very cautiously through there, and the final braking zone, we're going to brake absolutely on our braking point, and it looks like we are safe. They're still battling behind, so that's going to give us a bit of breathing room, and they're going to still be battling, and it looks like we're going to be in a prime position to take the win here. Absolutely fantastic race. This is what GT Sport is all about. As we run to the pit wall, flashing the lights, giving the pit crew a good thank you, and there we have it. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed that race. If you did, drop a like, consider subscribing. What do you think about GT Sport as, my statement earlier, the best racing simulator? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.